Hi guys, it's Carrie and today is release day for I Will Meditate Volume 3. And earlier, I think it was last week, sorry, I did a sneak peek flip through and I wanted to go a little bit more in depth with this. So you guys can see it's available now on Amazon and it's on a special price for the next 4 days at $10, and then it will go up to the usual price of $12. And anyway, I wanted to show you the cool new features. So there's volume 1, and that's on Amazon now, and then volume 2, and then this is volume 3. So you'll notice that, let me put these up in order here. So volume 1, you go through Matthew, Genesis, Exodus, and then finish Exodus in volume 2. And then do Mark and Leviticus, and then volume 3 is Numbers, John, and Deuteronomy. So what I'm doing is I'm going through the Old Testament in order and the New Testament in order, but I'm alternating so we don't get bogged down in the Old Testament and then, skip it around or skip it altogether. So we're alternating one and the other. So if you wanted, you could get these and you could just go through New Testament. You could go Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John and just start right there. Hey, Carrie. Or you could do Old Testament. If you really love the Old Testament and you just want to dive in and get totally immersed, you can do Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. And you can skip around in these. You can do them in any order. The only one that you have to kind of get 2 volumes for is Exodus, volume 1 and 2. Other than that, I'm trying to keep every single book of the Bible in 1 volume, so you can just get that 1 volume. So you can do these in any order you like. It will just sit there as a blank page until you get to it and you can finish it. And I love how it's going to end up like this. So that's the 3 volumes. In volume 3, I did a few things differently. And we have the welcome page. And then this is a bookmark. Volume 1 and 2 have a bookmark too. This is to help you get through the harder chapters. So it says here this is referring to the normal everyday page. So here's a normal page right here. So you would still summarize the same. And then on the box that says verses that stood out to you, instead of doing verses that stood out to you or who is in this chapter, you're going to do I notice. And you just kind of work through it that way. So the hard chapters, even the ones that seem like there is absolutely nothing in this, because you guys, I'm in Leviticus right now, and there are a lot of chapters I'm like, there's nothing for me in this chapter. You're going through it with the I notice, I wonder, I'm reminded of, and then you just continue with the rest. There's always something, right? There's always something. You just need to slow down and think it through. So I just do it like this. I write, I notice, I wonder, I'm reminded of. And then the rest is the same. So that bookmark will help you go through and remember to do those when you're getting bogged down or feel like you're getting bogged down. And then this is the new feature for this volume. Each new book that we're going to go through, starting with Numbers, there's a word cloud, and this is the most used words in the book of Numbers. And so this is the chapter or the book title. But then each of these, the bigger the word is, the more times it's used. So it's kind of cool. You can go through here and see all the words that are like key words in that number cloud or word cloud. And then I also have a preview for each book. So I'm not giving you a preview. What I'm encouraging you to do is read through each new book of your Bible's introduction. If you have a study Bible, they'll always have an introduction. If you don't have a study Bible, you can use these links right here. And I just put the links there and you can read those, open those online, read those. And then I give you 2 pages to write any notes that you have on the book of Numbers or any of the books in here. I love this because as I was reading through volume 2, I finished Exodus and then the next day you start Mark. And it just felt like a brake check, right? Like you're screeching and okay, now we're into a whole nother thing. And the same when I switched from Mark to Leviticus, it just seems very abrupt. So I thought this would be a real gentle way to bring you into the world that you're going to be covering in that book of the Bible. And then I also have some great maps that are included in this volume that aren't in any of the other ones. I'm so thankful Blue Letter Bible gave me permission to use the word cloud. That's from their website. And the maps that they have available, these are in the public domain, but they're on their website and they gave me permission, so super exciting. So this is the map of the land of the Canaanites. It just kind of gives you an idea of what's going on and where the different peoples were. And the same for here, this is the wilderness of Paran, and it shows you like some of the wanderings in the book of Numbers and where they were going. And then we have, I know this is so exciting, this is the camp, which you'll go into how it's set up, the tabernacle in the middle, and then the different tribes around there. And this is the tabernacle. And then this is just a really cool page I loved of like the priest and what it looks like, and the instruments and implements in the tabernacle, the layers of the tabernacle, what it looked like, another one of the tribes, burnt offering, altar, incense, the high priest. I mean, it's just so beautiful, so exciting. And then you go into the book of Numbers, and you're just going to work through it like all the other ones. Pray before you start, and then this is Numbers 1, and you date it and you work through the questions. Now this is another new feature. Before you begin, you're going to pray, and then you're going to review what came before. That was another area I noticed was lacking in the previous volumes, is I would get, okay, next chapter, start again. And because these weren't written in chapters, they were written as a letter, I would forget what came before. And then I would come in and, like, if I read a commentary, I'd be like, oh man, he pulled something from chapter 1, and here I am in chapter 18, and I totally forgot about that. So this will help you to flip through, and it's just a real quick flip through and review what came before. And then you'll continue through the entire book of Numbers. And of course there are, let me find one, the review and reflection. This is every 7th day. So if you were doing this on a weekly basis, you would ideally start the week on a Monday, and then when you came to Sunday, you'd do this review and reflect. And this is just going through the last 7 days of study, and you're just reviewing, and there's the previous one, you're just reviewing what you went over, and you're just going over some questions. There's some application questions there, and these are all numbered so that you can actually refer back to the review and reflect of like volume 1 if you wanted to. You would refer back to that. So you can interweave these and refer back, like, because the Bible is one giant story. And so this kind of helps you remember that, and you can refer back and forth to different ones that you want to. So that's Numbers, and then I have another one here for an introduction. We skip to the New Testament. This is John, and so we have another word cloud of the most frequently used words in John's Gospel. And then preview. If you don't have it in your study Bible, then here are some links for you, and 2 pages for your notes, and more delicious maps. Aren't these great? These ones were done by the American Bible Society and are in the public domain. They were done in 1888. And look at these. These are so great. So it has Samaria, Galilee, and the different areas around there, and then it has a detailed blow-up of that area, Capernaum, Nazareth, Cana. Oh, it's so great. Here's Jerusalem down here in Judea. It's just great. So when you're going through, you can mark, like if the first miracle Jesus did was in Cana, which is right up here. So you can just put a mark there and say miracle 1. And when you get done, you can look at this and you can see where he was, right? You can trace the steps and fill them in here. Or you can photocopy this, and then as you're working through John and they mention a location, you can take it and like washi tape it in here, or just tape it in here and then mark that location in the chapter that they're talking about it. So those are free for you guys to do that, to copy. And then here is Jerusalem, a map of Jerusalem where the temple was, and then all these locations, the Pool of Siloam, Pool of Bethsaida, all of these that you'll see they mention as you're going through it. So it's just Mount of Olives. I love it. I love it. It's so great. So that's the maps for John. And then you start right in John chapter 1. And then in chapter 2, again, you get the review what came before. So I'm finding that as I'm doing this, the review in Leviticus, I have a really good understanding of where things were in the book of Leviticus, because 20 some chapters into it, I'm constantly reviewing where these things were. And I think you'll find that same thing with John, which is just awesome. So the last one that we have is Deuteronomy. And we have a map here for Deuteronomy. And again, your review question, or your preview questions, your pages, and your journal pages. So that is volume 3. And I hope you go on Amazon. It's available right now. Like I said, this week it's $10, and it'll go up to the normal $12 after this week. And I just hope you guys are blessed by this and you get to just jump in and love it. Thanks.